Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Avengers issue 53. And this was a pretty good issue. It kind of got us into Kid Thanos' mindset and showed a little bit more kind of information on what's kind of going on with the dead celestial, the progenitor kind of thing, in its head in this. I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. And also seeing kind of T'Challa's tactics against a kind of Sorcerer Supreme Doom. So, we see that Thanos is pretty much talking, well, Kid Thanos is talking about how he would first dissect animals and then his whole kind of mindset of moving on to humanoids and trying to figure out that everything in the universe is there to pretty much facilitate Thanos's kind of rise to being like the supreme thing above all. And he's kind of expounding this about what's going on with Doom, pretty much talking about how he killed his mother and trying to figure out, okay, you are supposed to be wearing the armor that's been made out of the skin of your dead lover. When did you find out that it was worth it? He's like, every morn when I rise, when I'm Doom. I'm like, yeah, that's a very Doom thing. As he starts his assault upon Avengers Mountain, which looks horrible and awesome at the same time. It's like, dang, he's throwing everything at it. And of course, they're pretty much laying out what the Doom above all has pretty much been able to do, magic wise, fighting like the greatest witches and wizards and getting all of the forbidden kind of knowledge and everything, being the Necromancer Supreme. And that, of course, magic has its cost, and that the cost of him doing this kind of assault is like thousands of planets withering, millions of babies burning in wombs, nightmares coming out and like devouring the faces of dreamers. It is kind of nutty. And we see that like the Deathlock that's at Avengers Mountain talking with T'Challa is pretty much laying this kind of stuff out. Of course, T'Challa's like, I need to get in contact with other ones. I need to figure out what's going on with Ghost Rider. Of course, Deathlock's like, he's not in this reality anymore. And that you wouldn't trust a random Deathlock, and that the dead can't lie to their king. Kind of alluding to, I think, that the Avengers Prime is T'Challa of some kind of Avengers team that is the Avenger Prime. And then he's like, alright, I'll give you whatever you need. Let's kind of go. He pretty much talks Valkyrie and Namor into helping him out. Well, of course, he laid out that Thor and Captain America spoke highly of Valkyrie, and she pretty much needs no kind of like cajoling or anything like that. She's like, shit's going down. I gotta help out. Namor's like, listen, I understand we got shit going on. Your whole base is falling around. Helicarriers are falling out of the finger hangers and shit. Just point me in the direction of someone for me to lay my hands upon violently. It's like, yeah, that's pretty much Namor there. And then of course Kid Thanos is being like, yeah, I got this shit. And it's like, let me like slaughter you for science. And then fucking, I love Namor pretty much just like laying his ass out. Imperious Rex, you snot-nosed sadist. It's like, yeah, it was actually pretty funny and pretty well done. It's like, yeah, Namor is not one to be lightly fucked with, man. And we'll kind of see how this goes on. So they're pretty much trying to get the Deathlock hooked up to Avengers Mountain and kind of figuring out what can like be done there. So Valkyrie's pretty much taking him there, and we see underneath here that T'Challa is like getting ready for Doom, and it's like, interesting. Let's kind of see how that kind of works out. Well, Doom pops off, pretty much just getting ready to like take down like the Deathlock and everything. He's like, I don't give a shit about you, you assholes. I'll take you out. Of course, Valkyrie uses her weapon to give wings to Deathlock to have him fly out. And we actually get a pretty interesting kind of fight with Valkyrie and Doom, because at first you would think that the Doom above all would be able to utterly annihilate her, but he's using death magic and stuff like that, and of course she's very versed in death magic, death, like a Valkyrie taking souls to the afterlife and Valhalla and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of her thing, as we see her kind of like do what she does to start fighting him off. And Namor's pretty much getting ready to freaking strangle Kid Thanos, but Kid Thanos is like, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of like fuck with you too for my amusement. But Doom says that he is not a one-trick pony and instead decides to pretty much stop using the magic he was and pretty much bring the cancer back to Jane and almost pretty much kill her by like bringing out the cancer violently on her before her horse kind of like pops up to help her out, and Namor is pretty much stabbed a lot as Thanos is like, yeah, I'm going to like do an autopsy on this god here. It's like, all right, yeah, that kind of works. Doom's kind of getting frustrated with the horse and kind of like, fuck this horse. But then T'Challa pops up. He has utilized all these different kind of things to have pretty much anti-magic kind of properties, having the Red Panther being activated, and it's like, yeah, I love that he's got like these cord-wrapped gauntlet kind of things that he's doing with like stones from the Wakandan necropolis and like armor of metallicized blood. And it's like, yeah, this one page just showcases the awesomeness of T'Challa as the Black Panther. Of like, yeah, he might have someone that's got some obvious advantages on things that they could do, but he thinks and has what kind of countermeasure he can do, and just freaking goes after Doom. It's like, holy shit. Well, Deathlock gets to pretty much the Celestial's brain, pretty much hooks himself up to kind of like see what's going on because we kind of need your ass. Of course, Valkyrie's weapon goes back to her. She starts pretty much getting ready to help T'Challa take on Doom. And let's see. They know that their warning has been heard, so they're pretty much just trying to think, okay, this might not be enough. Let's kind of see what's up with the progenitor. Why it would be, what's it so afraid of? And we see that Thanos is pretty much, Kid Thanos is going through pretty much being really creepy with the dead Celestial, like cutting into it and being like, I mean, it's like dead flesh kind of shit. So, okay. Namor just fucking undercracks his ass throughout, like, outside of it. Like, yeah, alright. As we see that Deathlock is pretty much narrating some certain things and saying that, like, the rest of us, the god is afraid because of all the stuff that it's done, it'd go to hell. And we know that all these different kind of things are coming, and they're going to have to, like, help out. And they're going to need the help that they can get. And it's like, okay, Mephisto's doing some shit and is, of course, tied up with this, doing his own kind of thing. So, yeah, God being afraid to go to hell, and Mephisto, like, if he got that kind of, like, power source of, like, a dead god, I mean, granted, he has insane powers on his own, but having access to that would be fucking horrendous. And we see that things are going nutty with the mountain, and then T'Challa's like, everybody get out, but it then blows up. It's like, oh, that ain't good, that's not good. So this is pretty much setting up this, like, oh shit, we kind of lost the Avengers mountain, and all the Avengers are scattered, and we got the Masters of Evil kind of like doing whatever they kind of want to do, and Doom's just like, yeah, I got this, what you want. Even though they're all kind of doing their own kind of objectives, they still are tied together in their common purposes. So we'll have to see how the Avengers would kind of work this out. Now, this is going to be the last one that I review at the moment, because next month I'm going to be replacing this one with Strange, because I kind of like the setup that Clea is taking over as Sorcerer Supreme and is looking into ways to resurrect Doctor Strange. So I'm like, ooh, okay. Not that I hate this or think that this is bad or anything. I'm like, okay, this is doing pretty good. I just kind of want to see other kind of stuff in comic book wise, but I would definitely still recommend what's been going on with this, because it's been entertaining, and I'm like, okay, it's definitely getting into high gear at this point. So yeah, let's have to see how that kind of goes. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.